Do 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 do.
Hi guys, welcome to today's video, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be discussing the new Star Wars film, The Force Awakens, and reviewing it and maybe doing a little bit of speculation as well. And obviously before I start, I should definitely say that there will be spoilers, or there probably will be spoilers in this video, so just don't watch if you haven't seen the film, and go see the film, because it is absolutely brilliant. So just go do that right now. So yeah, obviously the film came out last month and it is brilliant, and I've seen it twice now, so both times last week for the first time ever, and it was just incredible and just brilliant and amazing to see a new Star Wars in the cinema. I mean, it's been 11 years since the last film came out, and that was just incredible, and to be in the cinema and watching another one was just brilliant. Oh my god. Overall, I would say that it was a brilliant film, and it was great to see Chewie and Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon and Princess Leia and everyone back into it, and it is very similar to the original trilogy, and I think a lot of the fans would like that because they always seem to hate on the prequel trilogy, which I love anyway. But it was sort of more like a modern day version of the original trilogy with updated graphics and that sort of thing. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what happened in the film, but basically it starts out on this planet Jakku, which is similar to Tatooine, and it's like another barren, poor desert planet, and there's this guy and he's got the map to Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker has vanished, and it says that in the opening credits, and you kind of think, where's he gone, what's happening? So that's kind of like the main plot of the story, is to find Luke Skywalker and kind of eliminate the First Order, which is like the revised version of the Empire. And so there's all these new stormtroopers and they all go out and fight and stuff, and then you see Kylo Ren and you kind of meet the Sith really early on in the film, and he has his lightsaber and everything, and obviously there's a new stormtrooper and he turns good, and it kind of doesn't really explain how that happens. I mean, as it's called The Force Awakens, you kind of think Finn, something like Force Awakens within him or something. That's kind of what I thought about it, but that's kind of getting into speculation. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, and then you meet BB-8 and he's really cute and funny, and it just kind of brings a sort of nice comedy light element to the film as well, and it kind of is a bit reminiscent of A New Hope in some ways, and I know people have said that and commented on that saying it's a bad thing, but one thing that stuck with me was when he puts the map in BB-8 and he leaves them, a bit like how Princess Leia puts the message in R2-D2 to go to Tatooine, so that's kind of similar in that way. But yeah, it's just really fun. And then obviously BB-8 meets up with Rey, and she's kind of like the main protagonist of the film as well as Finn, and as you later discover throughout the film, she's basically a child who's been dumped or left on Jakku, and something mysterious about that, but nothing has been said or explained, so you can kind of speculate about that. But yeah, it kind of continues, and they basically just try to escape from Jakku with the map to Luke Skywalker to take it back to the Republic or the Resistance and escape the First Order, and they're really strong and they've got like this massive weapon and stormtroopers everywhere, and Kylo Ren's kind of doing his rounds and being all aggressive and stuff. And then they bump into Han Solo and Chewie in their sort of smuggler freighter type thing with all their goods, and he covers the Millennium Falcon, and that's brilliant, and it's obviously, it just takes you back to when you watched the other films, and it's great. And then they escape from the First Order, and that's kind of when the film really gets into it properly for me, because obviously you've got these new characters and it merges with the old ones, and they kind of work together to get to the main goal, which is to get the map back to the Resistance. And then you meet Princess Leia and C-3PO with his random red arm, and discover that R2-D2 has kind of just been shut down for a while, and he's just not been doing anything, sitting dormant waiting for Luke Skywalker, because if you think back to the fourth film, he is his master. In terms of the Resistance, Kylo Ren is basically the leader, a bit like how Darth Vader was in charge, but there's obviously the general guy who's mainly in charge of everyone else, and he does this big speech and stuff, and they basically annihilate the Republic, and it destroys all these planets, and you just think, oh my god, what the hell? And it's very reminiscent of the Death Star. I don't know if they probably were trying to sort of go in that direction so they can kind of have this great power in the universe and they can destroy planets and stuff. But at that point I was like, oh my god, is that Coruscant? They've destroyed Coruscant. But actually I looked it up and it's not, because Coruscant's one of my favourite planets and from the prequel trilogy, and it's brilliant, and obviously the Senate and the Jedi Temple and everything, and you just kind of destroy that planet. How could they do that? Oh my god. But don't worry, all is calm and right in the universe again, because they did not destroy that planet. But yeah, it seems like this overall power is this other Snoke character who is probably another Sith Lord or something, or entity, and he is kind of controlling the First Order and Kylo Ren, and is very interested in the Force. He wants to bring Rey, he wants to meet Rey and all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot of speculation on who he is and what's going on, and he looks really weird and funny. But then if you think about it, I guess Darth Sidious looked really weird and funny back in the day as well. In terms of the Sith, speaking of Darth Sidious though, he's one of my favourite characters, Emperor Palpatine, whatever you want to call him, from the 6 films and the prequel trilogy especially, because he just manipulates that entire situation across the 3 films and then in the Return of the Jedi as well, and he's just absolute brilliant actor and incredible character. And not to spoil, but obviously he does die in the 6th one, and it's horribly that he is dead. But he also explains about Darth Plagueis in the 3rd film, and in his attempt to seduce Anakin to the dark side, which he does, but he explains that Darth Plagueis learned the power to immortality, and you kind of think, did he actually? Is he just lying to seduce Anakin, which I thought he did, but maybe he did actually learn that way, and has managed to survive death, because he does say he kills him in his sleep, and that's Darth Sidious, because he is his apprentice, and he takes over being the Sith Lord. But maybe Darth Plagueis did actually survive and has just been sort of hidden or dormant throughout these years. And now that Darth Sidious has died and lost his power and the Republic is restored, he's come out of the shadows and become kind of like the new Dark Lord and taken over the First Order. That's kind of what I think should happen and probably will happen, but we can't really say that it will, because the Snoke character is different, and obviously you only really see a hologram of him, and there's going to be a lot more explained in the next film, I imagine. But it would be such a great way to tie all 3 trilogies together, especially with the prequel trilogy mentioning Darth Plagueis all the way up to the 8th and 9th film. So it would be brilliant if that is how it is going to unfold. I mean, there could be any other Sith or entity or something, you never know, someone else who's born with the Jedi powers and then turns to bad, kind of like what Kylo Ren does. But you never know, I don't know, it seems likely that it will be Darth Plagueis, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to spoil too much, but obviously what happens in the end with Kylo Ren, and obviously there is a Jedi lightsaber fight, which is good, but not like kind of what they used to be like, and so I hope that they do improve on that throughout the next films. But obviously it's called The Force Awakens, and not to spoil too much, but Rey, the lightsaber is calling to her, and I was like, oh well, Finn obviously uses the lightsaber from the posters and stuff, you can tell he's the Jedi, but really, Force Awakens within Finn and Rey, and you just think, this is brilliant. Obviously 2 new Jedi, but where are these characters from? Even Finn, who has the backstory of the Stormtroopers being taken from his family, like who was his family originally? There's something going on there, because maybe his family descends from the Jedi Order. And same with Rey, obviously she was left on Jakku, very little, deserted planet, kind of like what Luke Skywalker was on Tatooine. And obviously if Luke's and Anakin's lightsaber is calling to Rey, I mean, there's huge speculation, and I kind of do want to think that she is a Skywalker, Rey Skywalker, and the trilogy will be based on her, like the other 2 trilogies were based on a Skywalker story. I mean, that would just be brilliant, but in a sense it is almost too obvious, because people have speculated on this a lot, and obviously if it was something different, it might disappoint some people, but also it would be like this great revelation that it is something else other than what we thought. So yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of speculation going on like within these films, and there will be so much more explained in the next one, definitely. But I do like Rey as a character, and Finn, he's really funny, and he brought like the comedy aspect to the film as well, and like in a good way, not in a sort of bad way. Yeah, I do like the new characters, and Poe as well, he's a brilliant pilot, and obviously Luke Skywalker's a brilliant pilot for the Rebellion, and now Poe is this fighter for the Resistance, and I don't know, maybe he's a descendant of Luke Skywalker because he's a brilliant pilot, you never know, I don't know. But yeah, so obviously Leia Organa is now a general, and she's brilliant, and it just kind of looks like, you know, when they planned the attack near the end, it kind of looked like how they planned the attacks in the 4th film and the 6th film, that sort of thing. So it is good, and it's obviously good for the fans to sort of have that. I do hope they reference some stuff from the prequel trilogy, but I don't expect them to go back to the planets, because I would have loved that. But obviously Tatooine and Jakku are very similar. Why would they go back to Tatooine now? They've probably kind of just kept that wrapped within the 6 films as that sort of series and planet. But I don't know, maybe Coruscant. I mean, I would love for them to go back to Coruscant, but it seems unlikely now that the Republic has been completely wiped out. Sorry if I'm just going off in a random tangent here, but there is so many things to discuss throughout the film, and I'm not really going to say much more, but obviously with what happens right at the very end, that was, oh my god, when she's walking up the hill though, like that is such a long, deep, intense, like it's just so tense throughout the whole of that 5 minutes. It seems so long, and you just think, oh my god, just get there, you know what's going to happen, and it happens, and it just feels like so long. It's incredible though. I mean, it is a brilliant way to end the film as well, and so I don't know where it's going to pick off from there, but I don't know, I guess we'll see. But obviously it did say that Luke Skywalker was training new Jedi, so Kylo Ren kind of like killed them all, so we'll see what happens with that. I don't know, it'll be brilliant, but I can't wait for the next film, and it is just going to be brilliant. After seeing it a second time, I'm kind of warming up to the new sort of aspects of it, like the new Stormtroopers, because obviously they're not the clones anymore, they were kind of taken from birth or as a kid and sort of manipulated and brainwashed into being these stormtroopers, and different things like that. Obviously how Tatooine doesn't feature and different things like that, but I'm kind of coming around to it because obviously it's a trilogy in its own, so it's going to have different aspects and be similar throughout the 3 films. I do hope they kind of revisit the planets that were in this film though, because I mean they're cool and it's obviously the Resistance based, that sort of thing. Now that the First Order has been kind of semi-crippled, we're going to see how they kind of rebuild from what happened. But yeah, that is basically my review and my speculation of the films, because you could just go on forever about it and I don't want to, and it's nice to just keep some things quiet and a secret and big revelations. I mean, do you remember the Empire Strikes Back revelation? So can you imagine if they do something similar later on? I don't know, but there's going to be something because there's too much mystery and secrets around Rey and Finn and what's going on and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was just so much fun to watch and it was absolutely brilliant, so I can't wait for the rest of the trilogy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and leave a comment below if you have any ideas or speculation about the film, or what's going to happen next, or what you liked or disliked about the film, that sort of thing. But all in all, it was a brilliant film, and you can understand with the ratings and the reviews and the money that it's making, it is a really good film and it's just brilliant. And yeah, so I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.
Not from a Jedi.